Hey, welcome back, survivors, to
Cheers.
Surviving the Badge, two cops at a bar.
Yep.
Because that's where we're at. We're at the Surviving the Badge bar. Tonight's show is a little crazy, man. It's a suitcase murder. I mean, who in the hell kills somebody with a damn suitcase?
What's the murder weapon?
Yeah, suitcase. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. You're going to want, it's been all over the freaking news. It happened back in 2020. You're going to want to stick around and see the details of this. We'll be right back in a second. All right. So
before we get there, we want to do a shout out to all the people who are suffering from the hurricane up in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. I know my son lives in South Carolina. He had to come down because got no power. You dealt with a bunch of it.
I did. I responded up there to North Florida and West Florida, but North Carolina.
Oh my God, it's
I mean, they got 3 and 4 foot of mud.
Yeah, and I worked out in Mississippi with Katrina, and there were police departments just wiped out, and I'm probably imagine the same things up there. So we're gonna toast to all the law enforcement that's up there. You know,
all the first responders,
all the first responders, even the firefighters.
Yep, and the line workers and everybody.
We love you guys. Be safe, okay? And cheers.
God bless all them folks going through this. All right, so weirdo case.
Murder by suitcase.
Weirdo alert, weirdo alert. Okay, so this happened in February of 2020. George Torres Jr., 42, suffocated to death on the 24th of February 2020 in Winter Park, Florida.
Yeah, that sounds kind of, typical United States, a lot of murders, right?
Just a little background on Winter Park, Florida. Winter Park, Florida is a very affluent neighborhood in Central Florida. It's just right on the border of Orlando.
Yep.
And
just south of where we worked.
Millions, yeah. $1 million homes are everywhere. I mean, it's just a very affluent neighborhood, or community. I mean, they do have their batter. They have their
My name's Ronnie. I speak good.
Less than, what was that word we had on the last show?
Oh shit.
Disclude.
Yeah, disclude.
I'm going to disclude that comment. Anyway, so he was murdered after being zipped into a suitcase. His girlfriend, 42-year-old Sarah Boone.
I'm not laughing at a death. That's not very nice. But
no, but I mean zipped into a suitcase, whatever. Was arrested on the following day for second-degree murder after agreeing to a police interview. So I watched the video of this interview with her, and we're going to get into that as we get down here when they arrest her and this and that. But it is so freaking bizarre. This woman has got some serious problems.
Right.
I mean, serious problems. Upstairs, serious.
Do we want to talk about our beer first, or
let's do the beer moment, because then I'm going to get into.
And then we're going to get into death by suitcase.
The whole zipped up version of this. Yeah, that didn't go over either, did it? Okay.
Did you try a pun?
Yeah, I know. That sucks. All right. Anyway.
All right.
I suck at jokes.
Today we are drinking Joseph Brau Grapefruit Radler. I'm not sure what a Radler is, but it's not bad. It's a Hefeweizen, which definitely helps with grapefruit. I'm not a big fan of grapefruit, but I'm actually kind of enjoying this. And I don't like sours. I wouldn't drink a lot of these, but I'm enjoying it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it wouldn't be one that I would, order like to go and drink 5 or 6 of or whatever. It actually reminds me of that one that's got the German name. And it's a heavy grapefruit beer, and it's
the Schuffenlafer
It kind of reminds me of, but that one's really strong grapefruit.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh.
Alcohol content on that is only like 3.2 or something. But
yeah,
so what do you give it, Bob?
I give it a 6.5. 6.5.
Yeah.
I think I'm enjoying it actually, which is a weird beer.
I'm right there with you. I know you don't like fruit beer or anything like that, but I'm going to give it a 7, man. I really enjoy it. It's refreshing. It's not real heavy.
Yeah. All right. So today's beer is brought to you by our sponsor, along with all of our other beer and equipment and everything. And here's a word from them.
Contact Mainstreet Realty for all your real estate needs. This power team includes Tom Clem, a veteran Marine and retired law enforcement professional. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much, sponsor. And let's talk about death by suitcase.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So Torres, the victim in this, had been arrested multiple times for alleged instances of domestic violence against her, Boone, and she had been arrested one time for an alleged instance of domestic violence against Torres.
So it sounds like a toxic relationship.
Yeah, very much so. And Boone had been arrested once for alleged battery by strangulation against Torres in July of 18, when both Boone and Torres were arrested. However, her charges were dismissed. Torres had been arrested 4 times for alleged battery against Boone. Boone bailed Torres out of jail each time.
Shocker.
And I mean, how many times do we see that? You were in the business a long time, as was I. I mean, how many times have you seen that where they run right down and they bond them out?
Yeah.
I can't even. It seems like about 90% of the time that happens.
Yeah, and on top of that, how many times do you have mutual combat?
Right.
You know, this seems like it was an abusive relationship both ways, both aggressors. And sometimes for those of you who are not in law enforcement, you have to kind of put yourself in position of a cop in these situations. You get there, one says he beat me, the other one says she beat me, and there's injuries on both, and it's extremely difficult to determine who is the aggressor. The state attorney doesn't, as far as I know, when I was on the road, they really tried to dissuade arresting both parties. So how do you determine?
Well, you know, I was just going to say, you got to look for defensive wounds. You know, if she's got defensive wounds all over the backs of her arms, you know, from blocking hits or punches or scratches, you know, or cuts or whatever, then you kind of look at that. It's really hard, man, without independent witnesses. Sometimes you got to go ask the 9-year-old child, and that's tough, man, to pull a 9-year-old, and now he's got to tell a story about his dad or mom and how they did something bad to their dad or mom.
Right.
Man, it's so hard, and that's the losers in all this are the children.
And it's really difficult because, and I imagine most states have similar laws. You have to make an arrest if there's a crime. There's no, you know what, there's a crime, but I'm just going to let you guys off. You can't, because then we have a Gabby Petito situation in Utah. And if you don't remember that, we did a video on that, and law enforcement was called. She was the aggressor in the battery, and they did not arrest her. Next day, she ends up being murdered and dumped in the desert. So law enforcement's in a tough position where you have to make an arrest. And I've made arrests where I just did my best judgment. I mean, sometimes that's all you can do.
And, you know, she ended up being the one that died. But if you look at it this way, her arrest, if they would have made it, could have possibly saved her life.
Absolutely. I believe so.
Because she wouldn't have got back in the van and just drove off.
Yeah.
You know, because you know he got pissed after that and said, you know, God damn, why'd you tell that fucking cops? You know, blah, blah, blah. And then he went off and killed her that next day. They believe. Yeah. So, or that night or later.
Yeah, somewhere
or
in there. And you got to make that tough call. You can't just say, oh, and that's what was happening all the way up until the late 70s. Law enforcement wasn't making an arrest, and husbands, wives were going back and murdering their spouse.
They were.
And now, is it still where they have to wait until first appearance before they have a bond?
Yeah, there's no bond on that. At least here in the state of Florida, there's no bond on that.
Until first appearance.
Until the judge lets them out, and then he'll put them on all kinds of restrictions and everything else, and they actually call the victim, either the male or the female. They call the victim and say, okay, he's been released from jail.
Right.
That way, if they haven't gotten their crap and got out of the house, they can haul ass, you know, so they don't. So there's all kinds of safeguards put in place for this, which there should be.
And this is one of the few cases where misdemeanor has no bond, and another case where it doesn't matter what the victim actually wants. Law enforcement steps in as the victim. The state of Florida steps.
They don't have to press charges.
Right, they don't have, because I mean, I would say more times than not, I've had the victims. I just want them to stop. I don't want them to, I don't want them to go to jail. Well, I'm sorry. The law
a lot
is.
of that, after talking to some of the instructors and experts and in the psychological field, They said it's the fear of, they're going to be abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
They have no money. That's the
Right.
only paycheck they have is his or hers. And now, or they have nowhere to go. They have no family. So they're like, well, what's one more beating? At least I get to stay here and I can
Right.
survive, at least
I'm not
until
on
they
the street.
can't.
I'm not homeless in the street.
Until they can't.
Yeah.
And that's the shame.
So what happened
So go
that
a little
ended
further.
this?
So his death was on February 24th. On February 25th, Sarah Boone called 911 and told them that her boyfriend, George Torres, was dead. Boone claimed that she and Torres had a single bottle of wine and then decided to play hide and seek. She claimed that they thought it would be funny to put him in a suitcase and that they were both laughing. She stated that she would then went upstairs and accidentally fell asleep, leaving Torres in a suitcase. Torres's death was ruled a homicide. The following day, after she had called 911, Boone was asked to come to the police station for an interview. During the interview, forensic investigators asked her for her phone. She willingly gave her phone to them, and it was searched. The search found 2 videos that Boone had taken the night before. The videos allegedly show Boone laughing as Torres pled to help inside the suitcase, stating, "That's what you get when you choke me. And that's what I feel like when you cheat on me." Boone went on to say, what do you do when you choke me? Or I'm sorry, stated that she did not remember recording the videos.
Yeah.
Now, these videos are freaking eerie.
They're bad.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah. I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real or ransom. I want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real or ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you ching on me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
I can't breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the fuck up.
Sarah.
Shh.
They're very, very eerie. You can hear her sitting there saying, "I'm not letting you out. You're fine. This is what you get for doing this to me. This is what you get for doing this to me." And you can hear him.
He's pleading.
He is pleading, and he gets a little more lethargic and more lethargic, and he's running out of oxygen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how much oxygen can you get through fabric that thick of fabric and zippers?
Apparently not enough.
Little to none.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And you got that anxiety going. So you're a scuba diver. You know how rapidly you can exhaust your limited air supply.
Balled up in a suitcase.
When you watch this video, you will be surprised. I mean, I don't think I could be put in a cargo container, much less this size suitcase. It's one step above a carry-on.
Yeah, it's a regular, like full-size suitcase, but it's not a huge trunk or
It
something.
is not a big
I was
suitcase.
like, how the hell did this guy get in there, man?
And so I'm trying to figure out how this worked. So you can't zip it up from the inside. So
Otherwise, he'd unzip it and get out.
This story of hide and seek.
Yeah.
That's not how you play hide and seek. I don't hide you in hide and seek.
I think they were screwing around.
Yep.
And he said, "I bet you I can get in that suitcase." And she said, "Okay, go ahead."
Or the other way around. She said, "I bet you can't."
Yeah, and she zipped him up in it, and then she said, "Huh, screw you."
Yeah.
you know.
And you
then,
can hear in her voice, not so much his because it's muffled, but you can hear in her voice that she's intoxicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can hear the slurring. You can hear the.
Right. Absolutely. After they watch these videos, they go ahead and they charge her. She has changed her attorneys her attorneys have changed 8 times. First couple of times she said, I don't want them. I don't want them. They're not doing a good job. Well, after that,
Well,
the attorneys,
how do you fight that?
the attorneys realized she was beep
Little
boop, and
batshit crazy.
and they have pulled themselves off of the case.
Yeah.
And said, we can't represent her. Well, I guess the the judge finally said that okay, we are not appointing you another attorney.
This is who you got.
And it's herself.
Oh, really?
She's representing herself.
But it doesn't seem like she's competent enough to do that.
Now, here's my question. Well, she is expected to use the battered woman defense.
Yeah, I could see that.
At her trial, a date which is set for 3 days from now. So we're going to hear what's going on in the trial.
Right.
But here's my question to you.
Sure.
Is she crazy? Or is she setting herself up for a mistrial due to improper representation? Is she that smart?
I think she's batshit crazy, but she's not legally insane.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
100%. There's a difference for you listeners out there. There's somebody will kill somebody and cut their face off and wear it and shit like that. That's crazy. But if they did it in their home and they tried to hide it, and the distinction is, did they know right from wrong? Did they know what they were doing was wrong? Did they understand consequences of their actions? That's what defines if they're legally insane.
Yeah, and she claimed the whole time when they were interviewing her, this was an accident. This was an accident. I didn't know that, he I fell asleep. This was totally an accident. I would have never left him in there. So she knows by those statements that what she did or what happened was wrong.
Right.
And she knew her only defense was going to be, it was an accident. I passed out because we drank so much wine. They said I only had 1 bottle of wine. However, in the investigation, they found 2 bottles of wine.
Yep.
And a receipt from that day when the bottles of wine were bought.
There you go.
So they drank a bottle of wine apiece.
Right.
So she was hammered.
Now, they charge her with second degree.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully they will include a lesser of manslaughter, because manslaughter is reckless behavior which results in death but was not intended to be death.
Right.
She did not intend to kill him, but you've done something that is extremely reckless that results in it. It's an accident.
Right. Absolutely.
So
like you're playing with a gun in your house and your buddy's sitting next to you and you're showing him how it works, and boom, and the trigger, and you blow his brains out.
Yeah.
That's manslaughter.
Right.
Because you were doing something ridiculously stupid and somebody got killed.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll include that as a lesser included. But to me, I'm with you. I think it was maybe it was just convenient for her. Right. I can get rid of this son of a bitch right now. But if it wasn't, it's still, you gotta help people out. If he's pleading, and you'll watch it in the video, he's pleading for help, and she's like,
and she's
nope.
laughing.
She's laughing. Yeah.
And she's laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot one other
calling
thing.
Son of a bitch and all that. I mean,
she asked for a professional makeup artist to do her hair and makeup so that she could get ready for her close-up.
Yeah, I read that today, and
that was her words.
Didn't the judge says, no, your attorneys can help you with the makeup, or because it's contraband. Makeup is contraband and all that. So, and
she has no attorneys.
Yeah.
So, What do they always say about you being your own attorney?
You have a fool for a client. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Person who represents themselves has a fool for a client. Think about it.
Yeah. So I might have to make this a thing that we watch in our class. I didn't know that this was coming up this soon. So it's starting next week. Jury selection is next week.
October 7th. So that should be Monday or whatever. Yeah. So.
I'm going to have to watch this in class and see how this goes. So
and I can't wait to see her in the courtroom with her banter, because the judge is going to shut her ass down every 2 seconds because she's
Yeah.
going to say, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
You're out of order. Sit
Right.
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they going to do? This is going to be an absolute debacle of a trial.
What Sean likes to say, what is it? Screwed up like a football bat, or is that your line?
Yeah,
monkey fucking a football. It's gonna be bad.
A monkey screwing a football.
Yeah.
Or
Sorry.
a basketball cleat.
Yeah. I shouldn't say the F word. Sorry. So this is going to be interesting. Hey guys, if you have any idea of anything you want us to cover or any cool cases or weird cases like this, send us an email at retiredcopsrule. If you want to sponsor the show, send us an email at retiredcopsrule@gmail. And like and subscribe. And always remember, at Surviving the Badge,
We still got your 6. Be careful out there.